Exactly where you fish matters a lot and can more than double your chances of getting the right drop. Also, there are 4 ways to get a fishing rod, 5 ways to enchant it, and this many things that you can find below the waves. Fishing rods have so much more utility than perhaps you realize, and so hello, I'm IBX Toycat, and today I'm going to give you an ultimate fishing guide. Look, I'll agree, G's are hard, and all of the work that I could have put into making better G's instead went into this frog, which you'll notice has a rod, and where did he get it? It could have been any of these 4 sources. The classic OG way is to craft one. Everyone knows that you can use 3 sticks and 2 string like this, and this is very, very cheap, but string still isn't everyone's day one resource, and so what do you do if you don't want to craft it yourself? Well, like the real world, when you don't want to make something, you can often find someone selling it to you instead, and although there's no Temu in Minecraft, there is actually the Fisherman. At level 3, he will give you a fishing rod trade, and it will cost quite a lot at 14 emeralds, but it will come pre-enchanted with a random enchantment. This means that you can start from your very first fish with an enchanted fishing rod, which is kind of nice. If you like the idea of dealing with humans, but you don't like the idea of money, and you prefer murder, maybe instead you prefer drowns, which have roughly a 3.75% chance of spawning with a fishing rod on Java. Here on Bedrock, as you can see, it's only a 0.85% chance, which takes your odds from almost 1 in 25 to less than 1 in 110. So this is technically possible, but if you're going into the oceans anyway, you might instead prefer to go to an ocean ruin. Ocean ruins do have fishing rods as one of their loot table drops, and if they don't, they'll still give you emeralds, which can help you with the other way. There is a 5th way to get fishing rods, but it does require you to have one already, because once you have a fishing rod, you can throw it into any water, any amount, anywhere in the world that you please, and this is how you start fishing. But what do you get once you do so? Well, the answer is there's actually 3 categories, with the most major bit, we're about to get some. As soon as that bobber goes underwater, you want to make sure you catch it, by the way. But what can you actually get when fishing? The answer is these 4 things as far as fish are concerned, a tiny minority of the loot table, but the majority of your drops because of the fact that they are very common. Here are the odds of getting the 4 corresponding fish: cod, salmon, tropical fish, and pufferfish, and interestingly, here are the hunger levels that you get from using them. Interestingly, this means that because you can cook salmon and cod to get even higher, there's basically no reason for tropical fish and pufferfish to exist, some people would say, but actually, I think pufferfish are more about the experience than anything else, and I would say that tropical fish are great to feed to your cats. Also, in case you're wondering, why do tropical fish look so different in this image than they do in real life, unlike the other fish? And it's because this actually came to Minecraft, the clownfish came to Minecraft long before the tropical fish concept did, and it's just kind of stayed around since. Isn't that a fun artifact? Speaking of artifacts, you can find those in the water because these are the 7 treasure items that you can find. These are some of the most valuable things, and if you ever see someone going fishing for days on end, they're probably trying to get one of these 7. Why is it that a lily pad is counted as treasure? I don't know. Does anyone really want a saddle anymore now that you can craft it? That's debatable, but the 3 most valuable are definitely the enchanted fishing rod, the enchanted bow, and indeed the enchanted book. You can find crazy things this way, including mending, which is the first way I ever got it, by the way. It is a very, very big grind, but a very rewarding one if you want it. Speaking of rewards, here's meant to be the opposite of that, and sure, ink sacks or tripwire hooks aren't that great, but you wouldn't be the first one to notice that this junk category actually has some items that are better than things in the treasure category, and that's really important to know, because as a collective, that makes this is your, by the way, in jungles, you don't get lily pads, you get these instead. As a collective, that makes all of these things that you can find, and that's going to be the same everywhere, except if you fish on Java in certain spaces. On Java, if you fish in a 5x4x5 area, you're going to find all 3 of those categories, but if you specifically don't, that is to say you fish in the corner, then you will be able to find only junk and fish. So if you want more fish or you want more leather boots, this is the best advice for you. Also, it's worth keeping in mind you need sunlight exposure if you on Java if you want to find any treasure, but on Bedrock you can fish anywhere in the tiniest corner of the tiniest staircase and you'll find exactly the same stuff. I accidentally opened that sign rather than fishing and I feel terrible. By the way, once you fail a bobber, you can leave it in the sea and you will be able to find even more. Speaking of finding even more, there are more uses for the fishing rod than you might think. I've shown that you can fish with it and find cod, salmon, and all of these things, but did you know you can also use it as a valuable tool? Because a fishing rod is is a weapon that will deal 0 damage if you use this function. If you happen to hit something with it, it will be pulled towards you, but you won't deal damage to that thing, and this is useful not just for pulling any mobs in that you see, although those are all far away from me, but it's also useful for the annoying part of the activity of getting a boat from water onto land. Even using leads, this is a nightmare, but if you get the right distance away and you try to hook it perfectly, you'll see that it will hook into the center of the boat, allowing you to gently move your boat around, which is kind of cool. If you happen to get really good at this and you can grab it in midair, you can actually start hooking the boat multiple times at once, which I've always thought is fun. So let's try that now. Okay, we're gonna try and there we go. Twice in a row. Very, very satisfying. And so, did you know boats can be moved with fishing rods, but so can any other entity that is affected by it. And so you don't just have to use boats as a way to go on a fishing trip, and indeed a fishing trip where you can store your stuff, but you can also then take that fishing trip and put it onto the land to put it into some hoppers if you want to. Do you want to? I mean, that's up to you, man. Speaking of things that are up to you, let's talk about enchanting. Because the way you enchant your rod is entirely a choice. There are 3 main enchantments that most people know about. There's Lure, which decreases the wait time for hooking. So, again, to be clear, this is for your fishing rod. What's interesting about this is that Lure will take your fishing time from 5 to 30 seconds, substantially down on average. I went in way too quick there, but do you see how quick we are getting fish compared to where we were at the beginning? This is only on average, but let me tell you, I feel the difference between Lure and not, and if you have a choice of one enchantment, this should probably be it. It does have a slight downside of making fish more likely than anything else though, which is best offset by also using Luck of the Sea. This increases your fishing luck. Fun fact, there are luck potions in the game that technically do this too. They're just not accessible in survival, and I don't know why they were ever created. But what's interesting is Luck of the Sea will increase your fishing luck, which is to say, when the game is looking at the free loot tables, junk, treasure, and fish, it decides to slightly weight treasure higher than before. This means that you can find not just pufferfish, but also all of those treasure things slightly more likely than you would otherwise. This is a bad enchantment if you want fish, but a great enchantment if you are looking for saddles or mending or anything else like that. And what's really fun about this is you can actually find Luck of the Sea fishing rods by getting treasure while fishing with Luck of the Sea, meaning you don't actually need to repair these, you can just keep it going as it is. But if you do want it to go longer, you can actually use the Unbreaking enchantment. This is the 3rd one, or you can use Mending. What's great about fishing is you get experience every time you use it, so it's the one tool that automatically will always keep itself maintained if you have Mending on. And then there's a 5th enchantment, which is the Curse of Vanishing. This curse only came to Bedrock somewhat recently, although it's been on Java since around 2016, and what's fun about it is you can use all of the enchantments on the fishing rod at the same time. You can have a fishing rod that will vanish when you die, that will heal itself when you use it, and that will also last 3 times as long, because only 1 in every 3 pools will use durability, meaning that this will actually last on Bedrock for 1200 pools of no XP and an infinite number with them, which is crazy. I said 1200 by the way, I think it's actually closer to 1500. Speaking of being closer to 1500, if the player fishes while raining, did you know, so let's go into some fun little specific tips here. Did you know if you fish while it's raining, your odds, the weight of actually getting something, the time that you need to use, goes down by 20%. That means if we use our lure rod, or let's be honest, our super rod, you can see that while fishing in the rain and using this rod, you're going to be getting fish like it's no one's business. Look at that right there. I got 2 fish in less than the time it took me to get 1 earlier, and even when we get really bad RNG, like we are right now, it's still barely 10 seconds to get your hands on this. Ooh, look, a piece of treasure. Isn't that great? So fish in the rain. If you are looking for a time to fish in your world, wait till it does rain and then fish in it. That's a really good idea. Also, make sure that you fish in sunlight. If you are exposed to sunlight, that is to say, if you can see the sky from the water, whether it's the moon up there or the sun, it doesn't need to be day. But if your water is exposed to the sky, you'll fish twice as quick. And all of the things I've been showing you so far have been that way. But it's important to note, while we're talking about specific tips, that this is really useful for challenge runs and challenge worlds too, because it is a way to create items from thin air. Let's say you're playing a water world survival. This, by the way, is made on a water world super flat. For some reason right now, fish mobs don't spawn at all. Look, seriously, I'm looking around. It's an ocean biome, but there are no fish here. If you're playing single player, you just can't find them right now, but you can still get them with a fishing rod, so it's a great way to generate items from thin air, but also the same is true for enchantments. If you can't access enchantments any other way, or you don't want to, the fishing rod is great for you. Did you know also, if you want to pick up items, it can be great for that on Java only. On Bedrock, sadly, this isn't there. It also works on console for what it's worth. And also, did you know that the durability is vastly different between platforms? This is another specific tip, but Minecraft fishing is one of the weirdest things that changes between Java and Bedrock. The way that you fish changes entirely. You know, treasure or not, that's a Java only feature. The durability of your fishing rod and what you can use it for also varies a lot though, which means that if you have a fishing rod on Java, you can use it for 60 pulls, but on Bedrock, it's over 300. This means that on Java, your fishing rod has the same durability as like a pair of leather boots, while on Bedrock, it has the same durability as a diamond helmet. And yes, that is a real difference. Yes, that is that way. Why is it that way? You tell me. But yeah, speaking of things that you can tell me, one last little fun fact, because I think this one's crazy. If you are playing a water world and you happen to have a fishing rod, you can go fishing and you can get water bottles, which you can sell to the wandering trader. And that's something that I think is really cool, that might be useful for you to know. You can basically fish for emeralds. I mean, even if you're not on a water world, if you have a wandering trader, he will buy water bottles from you. And so you can actually turn this fishing rod on this empty void world into emeralds with the right guy. Isn't that cool? I think it is. Anyway though, this has been your ultimate guide to fishing. I hope you've enjoyed it. Check out the playlist if you want to learn about any of the other parts of Minecraft, and obviously this is the channel to subscribe to if you like seeing weird fun challenges in Minecraft. But for now, I hope you all enjoyed, because I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Oh, goodbye.